And he has a team giving him information. So if someone else already did the work, just follow their lead.
Yeah, but you just be spitting other people's facts. What's our
That's how facts work. That's how facts work. It's visually gorgeous and incredible. You know, a lot of the stuff in the movie is real. Mm-hmm. You know, there's real planes and real G's, like Tom Cruise.
There was one villain that was worse than Barbosa, Blackbeard, and Salazar, and it was a female. Her name is Amber Heard. We lived there. It was Pittsburgh. It resonates with our city.
We didn't even live in Pittsburgh.
You guys, I'm making a point of saying it's like every other city in America.
Dude, I can't take it.
All right, who's opening us up?
Josh clearly wanted to.
You have not opened in a while.
Welcome back to the Wacky Wonderful Wiseworks podcast, everybody. All you guys, gals, geeks, and goofballs.
You're completely monopolizing the freaking opener.
Yeah.
You do it every week.
Because I'm the best.
No, you're not. You're traditionally and historically the worst.
At least I'm remembered for being something. Are they going to remember you?
You get it right like a couple times and you're like, all right, this is my new job. Share the load, bruh.
You're traditionally and historically the worst.
Well, we've clearly started already. Let's go.
All right. Everybody, welcome to season 12 of the Wiseworks podcast.
I died this season.
We're back. And guess what? It's Monster Mix-Up. Monster Mash.
I hate that
so much. I said Monster Mayhem.
Monster Mayhem. Okay.
That's better.
Monster Mayhem.
Or Monster Madness.
Monster
Madness.
Joe's over here like Monster
Mix-a-lot.
Matthew McConaughey.
Multiverse of
Madness or
Monsters
or
of
Mayhem. I'm okay with the one. Quick. One of you decide.
Multiverse of Monster Mayhem.
I like Monty I like Monty Python.
Monster Multiverse, because we are doing a lot of crossovers.
Monster Multiverse. That's fine. We're sticking with it. We're going.
All right, I guess this is Monster Multiverse.
No, we're doing Monster Mayhem.
All right.
Monster Mayhem. What's the definition of mayhem?
I assume it's like a general chaos.
Mayhem.
Yeah.
General chaos. That's what I would say.
And if it's any indication of how this episode has begun,
it is mayhem.
It is mayhem. Listen, we're glad you're here. We're gonna be running monsters all the way to Christmas. So
all the way to Christmas.
Buckle up. Once we hit Thanksgiving, we'll take a slight turn, but it's gonna be Thanksgiving monsters.
We'll get into more friendly,
and then we're gonna
good
put
monsters.
We're gonna put monsters in Santa Claus
Harry
hats.
and the Hendersons.
We're gonna go through every Scooby-Doo episode.
Oof.
We've done Scooby-Doo in the past.
We did.
Last Christmas, really close to Christmas, we did a Scooby-Doo thing.
Yeah.
Or was it Halloween? But we can't do Scooby-Doo again.
We could. We could always do Scooby-Doo.
We should do Shrek.
An entire Shrek episode.
I'm already done with the season.
A Shrek-isode.
We'll do the Shrek-isode.
So Daniel Lilly on Patreon, he voted according to last episode, right?
Okay.
Yep.
He gave us his rankings. Avatar: The Last Airbender at number 1.
Okay.
Looney Tunes at number 2.
Okay.
Shrek at number 3.
I told you that's what it is.
He said, sorry, y'all. Daniel, we appreciate your input, and I respect your
now
ranking.
it's 3 against 1.
What do we do? We did.
He's a paying
Avatar,
customer.
Shrek.
Yeah.
Looney
So
Tunes.
his opinion
matters.
yours.
Listen, that's fine, but I'll take it from Daniel. But don't you two sit here and try to belittle my opinions.
What? You were hardcore arguing for Shrek, weren't you?
Yeah. We gave it to Shrek.
As evidenced by the color of that can.
Did we really? No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. Avatar was 2. Looney Tunes was 3.
I don't remember the order now.
You guys
Yeah, we
memory
did.
is losing.
We ended with Shrek in the front because Josh was like, I can't do this.
You were so upset.
End the episode.
Every single season, you always end so upset.
Why am I still a part of this podcast then?
You
I'm
keep
done.
showing up. You keep sitting in the chair. Okay. You keep arguing with me before we get going.
Micromanaging. You're still
start
here.
my own podcast.
Do it.
I'm gonna get a female co-host, and we're gonna have a
White.
Wait, baby.
Why does it matter?
Why matters?
We could do the podcast exactly the way we want to, with no pushback at all.
Yeah, but you know it's gonna be boring. You're both are gonna agree that Batman is a masterpiece, and you won't have an opposing argument for it.
No, I went into that saying it wasn't a masterpiece.
Only because you agreed with me.
Yeah, and then he convinced me otherwise.
It would be me convincing a lot, and likewise, Wyatt would convince me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know who doesn't ever get convinced, even no matter how good the argument
even
is?
if the argument is
Why are you flicking your eye?
perfect.
Because you got some money. Yeah, there we go. You got it. You got it.
Freaking you, sir.
Can we make a clip? Can the opener start?
Okay,
every
wait,
time
no,
with,
no.
You are historically and constantly the worst.
Okay, no. I do want to take 2 steps back. Can I take 2 steps back right quick?
You
And
can.
look at this camera and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a co-host. If you're interested, message me on Instagram."
What
Josh
skills do they need to have? What
Wisener
skills do they need to have?
_
Josh was like, be a woman.
They need to be able to edit like multiple things.
Oh, a lot every
Like,
week.
Every week.
Because Josh was not
hours.
touching the editing. Josh
I edit
don't
so
do it.
much.
You would record 3 episodes back to back and be like, I'm feeling good. Then you look at your editing roster and be like, canceled.
He's like, this is an audio only podcast. Although I think it's much easier to do an audio only podcast.
Absolutely.
As,
But
one person.
But it is easier. However, unless you have a really strong name, super hard to grow because the kids these days, they won't listen to a podcast unless there's video attached to it.
I don't tend to
We're
listen
talking
to
about
podcasts.
the 18-year-olds. We're talking about the 17-year-olds. We're talking about the 20-year-olds.
You didn't pull that out of your butt. You got that from another podcast.
I got that from Tom Segura. Was it Tom who said that?
No,
it was
Rhett.
Yeah, it was Rhett, wasn't it?
I
From
don't
Rhett
know.
and Link. Yeah. And
We-
he has a team giving him information. So if someone else has already did the work, just follow their lead.
Yeah, but you just be spitting other people's facts. What's our
I'm
over?
That's how
spreading the
facts
word.
work. That's how facts work.
Josh was like, if someone learns a fact, you can't say it. You can't repeat the fact.
Never.
It's their fact and theirs
Theirs.
only.
What's our opener? What are we
That's how
opening
facts
this
work.
week?
All right, we're going to give a movie review of Prey.
Wait, is this our opener?
Prey. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I thought we had an actual
See,
opener.
this is an example
Yeah, this.
of Joshua just...
No, we had an opener, and I guess I'm assuming it got moved to the middle of the podcast.
Are you talking about Freddy Krueger?
Yes.
Yeah, that's in the
No,
middle
that's
because
not
we're not doing
opener.
2 reviews back to back. We're doing 2 reviews today, and we're also looking at Freddy Krueger. But before we do all that, we're going to talk about Prey. And so we all watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Something I noticed, look at her eyeball.
Yep.
3 little dots.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. I didn't see that before. Overall, the public really likes this film.
Yeah.
They really do.
Overwhelmingly so.
As the Predator, franchise, I would say this is the better of the Predators.
This is probably.
I'm not super Predator heavy.
This is a decent Predator movie. Is it a decent movie? Debatable.
Wait, what is
It
like,
is-
decent movie? Predator. Where does this sit?
The,
The first Predator. Okay.
the first
The first
Predator
one.
is a solid movie, just in general. It's action, it's scares, it's effects, it's everything, right? And this is working off of us. This actually does a really good job of going back to form, where the other Predator movies get convoluted with all sorts of other stuff. This takes it back to a very simple idea.
Back to the basics.
Yeah, and it's linear and it's fun to watch.
Absolutely.
So
Now, I'll say this. When I watched this, I love the filmmaking in this film.
yeah, oh yeah, I noticed that too.
It was
good filmmaking,
So
good visuals.
awesome. Like, there were scenes. So I brought this up because this was going to cue my thoughts. I don't know why there's a border there. So whenever they're doing a lot of torchlight, right? Especially in the night scenes, when it's perfect. The way they filmed it was so much better than most stuff I see. The way they do when you have light in the frame and when you have just moonlight nighttime, right? So there was a scene where the background is just dark. They actually filmed it at night. They have a torch there, and then they put the torch out, and now they're operating at moon night. I think it's when they're hunting the lion, right?
Yeah.
The switch in the look of the setting completely changes, but it works so well because from one, it looks like a vast darkness with a light in the center, and then it switches to everything's illuminated by the moon, and I loved it. It was so beautiful. Cool. It was very thoughtful too.
Yeah.
The whole film was very thoughtful filming wise and stylistically.
They're a director of lighting. He's good.
They're I need to look it up on IMDb. Should I?
Yes.
Sure. For me, throughout this review, it's gonna sound like I hate this movie. I don't hate the movie. I enjoyed the movie, and I disliked a lot about the movie.
Okay, so let's talk about what you liked about the movie.
Scroll up.
Let's talk about. So the director was Dan
Trachtenberg.
Mr. Trachtenberg. Let me go to the all cast and crew.
Well, there was if he said click here for production.
Well, all cast and crew right here. So I think what I'm looking for is the gaffer. Art direction, set design, music.
Well, that's probably what you need is
art department, sound department, special effects. What? Okay, Wyatt, while I'm looking through here, what did you like about the film?
So I really enjoyed the.
Wait, no, I just saw something. Go up. Oh, I saw lighting artist.
Oh, there it is. Down.
Lighting lead.
There's lighting lead, and then there's lighting artist under head of technology.
Yeah.
NPC.
Lighting
Where
lead.
are you seeing that?
Cliff.
Lighting artist is literally the last name you can see in frame. Other than
Oh, okay, gotcha. So let's go to lighting
Clifford.
lead. Clifford C. Moeller. Okay. So he did Godzilla, Monsters, Top Gun Maverick.
Very cool.
Clifford out here just rolling in the background, Mr. freaking Moeller.
Mr. Moeller.
So the things I liked were I really liked the way that the Predator tracks. It does all the proper Predator things. Love the weapons. A big part of watching Predator movies is usually they come in with different weapons and tactics. Very cool mask. He's got all the Predator accoutrement. He's got a very sick mask, probably the most unique mask of any movie. He's obviously a different species, so thinner, more dreadlocks. Very cool. Not a fan of the Predator new species thing.
Why?
Number one, he takes off his mask and he looks like a monster.
He looks similar to other predators.
They make it clear he's a different species, but his eyes look monstrous and animalistic. His mandibles look monstrous and animalistic because they needed monster. They wanted monster. When the first predator takes off his mask, his mandibles have function. They cover his mouth to keep his gums protected. When he roars, they don't like spread out like he's some sort of they open up, but they don't they're not massive. And he's got intelligent eyes. Is a big thing for me. He's got intelligent eyes. He uses people's voices against them, and he speaks even if he's just parroting what Arnold says.
Yeah.
He speaks, and he's scary because he is intelligent.
Okay, so
And this one seems a little bit more animalistic, but like caveman with weapons.
Joshua, what did you like
About the Predator itself?
about the film? What are your positives? I've said mine. Mine is the filmmaking was wonderful. Visually, the way they used colors, the way they used a lack of colors. You know what I mean? I thought it was all wonderful. What did you like about the film?
I like that it was in a different timeline than like our normal Predator because it was in like Native American, you know, and different setting than we normally see Predator. I mean, the first one, all it is Arnold Schwarzenegger basically, but it's like
you are downgrading what the first one is.
See, I didn't like the first one. I didn't care for it.
The first one's incredible.
I didn't care for it.
But I would agree I like the setting as well because, it goes back to form. The first one's in a jungle, which is essentially an alien environment. And this one's in untamed American forest, which is cool as well.
Absolutely. What other... Go ahead.
The first Predator felt like an 80s film. Like, you could tell it was made in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was the forest. Or the
jungle.
The jungle. That feels very 80s to me.
Did you guys... Were you okay with the mix of animation for Predator and practicals?
So I'm okay with the CGI for the Predator in this. In previous movies, the CGI for Predators have been bad. I'm okay with him being mostly CG in this.
There was actually a lot of
there was a lot of practicals,
well.
Even though traditionally Predator movies, even more modern ones, have stuck with a practical aspect. With the CG, you can get it to do everything you want it to do.
The tree stuff works a lot better if it's done correctly.
Yeah.
Him just bouncing from trees.
Right. Yeah, he was, I mean, all of his weapons were sick.
Yeah.
He didn't have a plasma caster. He had a, like a crossbow bolt thing.
Different time.
His combi stick was a club and a spear.
There was some that I remember when we were watching it. You were like, "Why is it not his stuff shorting out with the water?" And you were questioning that.
So, in basically every movie, the issue there's issues with his technology.
Yeah,
he's not invincible.
Absolutely.
His plasma caster can be blown up. His mask can be ripped off, and his camouflage shorts out in water every time. And they're saying, well, this is 300 years ago, so the technology should be better. I mean, I think it should still short out in the water unless this is a different kind of technology.
But do you think it would have messed up the story at all? Based on
no.
Because you also have to think about from the writing perspective, they think this is, well, they don't know what this is.
No, it wouldn't have. And she, in the water, it fights the bear. She sees it fight the bear, even though it's invisible. Very cool scene. I loved watching that. But his camouflage doesn't short out. But she sees it when he lifts the bear over his head. The water or the blood sprays down onto his face. You get a really, really cool image of the blood coating it and seeing that this thing is an alien.
Yeah.
So
I also like seeing how much it bled when it was fighting the bear. The bear was just ripping it.
This Predator gets hurt a lot.
A lot. And it has a healing scene.
A lot.
There was a healing scene.
Which I feel like has to be in every Predator movie. You have to have a scene because it shows that it's more than just an animal. It shows that it's a thinking creature.
See the Predator over here on
a
the side.
Sentient creature. But also in previous Predator movies, I don't think we've seen a Predator, a traditional one that can lift a bear above its head. So I have issues with that as well.
Wasn't he a little bigger than normal?
Yeah.
They made him a little larger.
It is. It's make it more monstrous for monster's sake, not because they don't tell us any background about this. They don't be like, oh, he is a different species in the movie. It's just directors behind the scenes saying that. And it's just,
In some ways, though, the fact that we don't have any established lore besides the films that are already out.
Now, I would be okay if they said, this is the Predator. This is the Yautja species. This is how they look and how they always look.
What are you saying?
They're Yautja.
This is the Yautja.
They're
species.
Yautja. They're not just.
That is the most predator.
They're not
predators.
just called. They're not just called predators. They have an alien species name.
Yeah.
If they say this is what they all look like, and this is what the ones we've seen in previous movies would look like in this version of the world, I'm cool with that. I like that more than them being like he's from a different part of Yautja Prime.
Yeah, they didn't really explain it. What did they actually say? You watched some videos explaining that?
Yeah, they say he's from a different part of Yautja Prime.
Part. Okay,
whereas it's like, well, humans on different part of Earth, we look kind of different, but our other ones of us, our mouths aren't like much more distended, and we're not that much different.
Some people's mouth are a bit more descended.
Yeah.
And we don't look as different as this one looks.
Well, maybe one had plastic surgery.
I guess
the alien version of plastic surgery. Maybe he's
so
got those.
We have other characters.
Alien butt lift.
So, what did you think about the supporting characters?
He's my favorite.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
Yeah, I wish he was the main character.
I don't know. I actually really liked her.
I
thought she held her own.
I thought she was so boring.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I would agree.
She is literally a Disney princess.
No, she's not.
I want to be a warrior. I have an animal companion.
Okay, we talked about this. This is the same problem. I understand. Yes, they fell into a trope. But that's in the writing. For her and how the actor portrayed her as a character.
The actor portrays
how she
her
held herself
fine,
on screen.
She doesn't learn anything.
Yeah, she does.
No, she doesn't.
The whole movie is her learning.
No, the point of the movie is I want to be a hunter. I am a good hunter. I think I can be the best hunter. She comes back. I'm the best hunter.
No, she comes back. She fails.
No.
She almost gets killed by the lion.
And she has to practice with the
throwing.
She failed against
she had to
the
practice
predator
with
like
the
4 times before she got it.
The thought is I could be the best hunter, and then she becomes the best hunter.
But she had to practice at the night.
Yeah, no, they show her practicing, and that's a positive for her character that they don't show enough.
You're contradicting yourself.
No,
by
I'm
saying,
not.
Yes, she does practice.
Yes, she practices, and that's good. She's not just a character who can do everything
like She-Hulk
immediately, right? Like She-Hulk. It's like, oh, I'm just super good at this. She fails constantly, which is great and good, but she doesn't learn how to be a better character. She just, towards the end of the movie, she becomes like Neo from the Matrix and starts fighting incredibly well against the humans.
Well, she learns the secret
and then against the Predator.
The Matrix.
She just
I will say there's a bit of a skill jump.
Yeah,
there's a skill jump for sure, but that doesn't discount the fact that they fell into tropes. But they actually gave it a go, which is different than we've seen in most films recently. They actually made it. Like, there was intentional development through this.
Right.
And with losing her brother, losing her friend.
She's good at the medicine. She's good at tracking. If people listen to her ideas, they are good. She gets in a fight, and because, I don't know, she gets captured by the dudes, it's okay for them to just die like the most violent and brutal death.
The Frenchman?
The Frenchmen are a different issue.
Yeah,
that's.
Are you talking about the other
native guys?
Yeah.
The French.
That was pretty rough.
The Frenchmen are pretty traditional, like
French.
Yeah, French. They're the French.
The we.
Am I okay with making all the white people just dirty, grubby, disgusting, annoying?
They're French.
Terrible.
Screw them.
It's okay because they're French.
They're French.
They're French, and I'm okay with
Screw
that.
the French.
I mean that's
including Timothy Chalamet.
This is from the perspective
Also
of
Jewish.
the Native American.
I'm just saying, there's boring modern politics in it that we've seen a million times before.
But it wasn't rubbed in our faces.
Okay.
No, it was. They followed a traditional storyline that we have seen since the freaking 70s.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's not a new one, and it's also not that modern politics.
I think this was coming from their perspective, so
If
it's
it was
going
modern
to look like
politics,
that.
if it was
regardless if it is or not.
I would have liked her to experience a little bit of like legitimate fear when she's fighting the predator in the end.
in the end.
Yeah. Like,
Well, she showed legitimate fear for like
I would have
4
liked,
times.
I would have liked for her to be on the back foot at times in that last fight.
I think she should be on the front foot.
It seems like she's just on the front foot the entire time fighting this massive, raging, future technology
He didn't have his
master
mask.
hunter.
He didn't have his mask.
No mask.
Master hunter, right? But they did a good job of making the movie fun and interesting.
What are you
Yes.
gonna rate this movie? 1 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 6.
I'm gonna give it a 7 because honestly, I had a good time watching it.
It was a
Alright?
fun time, but I'm not a
And
Predator
it
fan.
didn't. It felt like more of the same, and
Not as
just
much.
based on what's come out this year, it felt like a little bit
More enjoyable.
more enjoyable. Yes.
Yeah.
It felt fun. It felt thrilling. The politics that were in it, it didn't feel like it was crammed down my
It was
throat.
not overwhelming.
It
will
wasn't
say that.
overwhelming with the political ideas.
Also, okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
I gave it a 7. I gave it a 7.
I give it a 6.
I have to give it a 6 because of all the things I said and the little things. Nobody shoots a bow like this unless you're the Na'vi. Who shoots a bow like this? No, the Native American shot like this.
That was a problem that Wyatt pointed out to me before I even saw the film. He's like, there's a serious issue in this film, and it's the way they shoot bows.
Ah, that annoyed me.
Yeah, if you're on Pandora and you got them really long blue hands,
Yeah.
then maybe you do it this way for some reason. Maybe you have
Right.
an extra joint in your
Also,
elbow.
pulling a bow back this far doesn't kill anything. And they did that
yeah,
multiple times.
They did.
And then also the...
That's a fully pulled bow, though, right there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The arrow's all the way to the end.
Yeah.
hand.
And then also her
Small arrow.
magic tomahawk with the rope.
Ding, ding.
Her magic
Boomerang one.
her magic boomerang
It
tomahawk
obviously
rope
wasn't.
thing.
It obviously wasn't realistic, but they at least had an explanation.
Yeah.
They're like, she practices for an undisclosed amount of time
Several days at least, yeah.
to master this whip back catch.
just
thing,
abandons her tribe for days on end.
I'm gonna practice with this new weapon.
Yeah.
All right. So 6, and 7.
Yeah, I give it a 6.
Absolutely.
It was at least
I'll go 5.5.
it was at least decent to watch.
You're dropping it.
5.5.
All right.
Now the original Predator for me is an like 8.5.
Oh, that's pretty high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you've got you.
rose-colored glasses.
Listen,
Yes,
I
the
do. I am
rose-colored
I am a Predator apologist,
Yeah.
but
I was about to say
the original
enthusiast.
movie is both an action movie and a horror movie, and an incredible monster movie because they do some insane things with the technology that they have. They give way more story to every one of the characters than the girl had in this, to each of the characters. And then they kill them off one by one. And then they make Arnold, who's this like professional warrior who's not scared of anything, they make him scared.
Yeah.
You know?
Sick.
They make him run away. They make him, they strip him down to the basics of what it is to be alive. And then they throw him against the Predator.
You know, last year we got a tradition, you know, in the Wisener household. Thanksgiving, you do all the Thanksgiving things, but you know, some people they'll go out and do, I guess in the movies they'll play sports or play a football game or something like that.
Yeah.
We watch Star Wars on Thanksgiving. Doesn't matter which one, we just gotta watch a Star Wars. We didn't watch Star Wars last year. Why? Because we were watching The Predator.
Nice.
No,
The
not
Predator
nice.
or-
We watched it with you.
The Predator or Predator?
Predator.
The original.
The first one, yes.
Okay.
No, you guys watched it. I wasn't a part of this.
because you
Yeah.
committed to something else, which
good-
forfeited your Star
It's a
Wars
good
or
movie.
Predator.
But I didn't want. I'd rather be watching Predator.
Well, you made your own bed.
You made your bed. Now you gotta sleep in it. Yeah. No. Other than that, the second movie is worse, but it's got some redeeming qualities. I would actually say a lot of the movies have redeeming qualities. For the Predator specifically, characters and character development for humans gets
Different
worse
story.
and worse. But as far as cool factor for the Predators go, it's always cool, except for the Predator, the one that Shane Black did, the one before this. Horrible, terrible,
Yeah.
terrible
Predators.
movie.
You
Hated
watched it anyway.
No, not that one.
Wait,
This is the most recent one,
when was that made?
2018.
I watched that one. Is that the one where the
Never
two
seen that
predators
one.
are
I've
fighting
seen-
each other?
Yeah, the Shane Black Predator, bad. Don't watch it. Well,
Watch it just to
watch
hate
it
on
and
it.
laugh. Watch it and laugh.
And giggle. But if you want to have an enjoyable film, watch Prey. Speaking of good, older, classic, thrilling horror films,
Yes.
we're going to get into...
Do we not have a Patreon shout out?
We do, actually. Thank you. It's Karina.
Karina.
I thought that was.
Thank you, Karina, for being a Patreon supporter. Sorry I almost overlooked that section, but we appreciate it. And you're the best. If you want to be a Patreon supporter, the link is in the description. We not only have early content every single week,
Exclusive content.
not only exclusive content, well, yes, this is a part of exclusive. We've added a new piece of exclusive content each week. We're doing our reaction stuff that we usually do on the studio channel. But once a week, we're doing a bonus extra.
An exclusive reaction.
Exclusive reaction. So
Is that the right way? of
get
saying
in.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get in on the fun. Choose the tier that best fits your content needs. Links in the description. Thank you, Karina, for being a supporter.
Maybe we'll do a Shane Black Predator,
No,
Predator
no.
movie review.
No.
All right, let me get back to this. We're going into Freddy Krueger. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up a article.
Mr.
I
Freddy.
learned about a lot of fun information about this film.
I've
We're
only
looking-
seen the first one.
We are going to be looking at the details of how this monster man was designed. Some fun facts, production details. What? Josh was looking at me like, what are you getting at? But he should know what I'm getting at.
I know exactly where you're getting at.
Where am I getting at?
Let's go with it.
So
All right.
I watched the first one.
Mhm.
And I like monster movies, and I can't with Freddy Krueger. I can't. He's not a monster.
No.
He's not a real monster.
Well,
No.
he's
He's a ghost.
So this thing. So let me see. I think the director's name is Wes Craven.
Yeah.
So
We got young Johnny.
So yeah, this was Johnny
Depp.
Depp's first film. Yeah, you're right. But with this monster, the problem that Wes was confronting, you had Halloween, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Both were masked, dangerous, big mystery men
People.
who were just going on psycho rampages. He's like, I need to do a psycho rampage like character, but I need him to be different. I want his face to be exposed. I want him to communicate. I want people to see what he feels, you know? And that's something that it was a new thing. So although you don't care for it, if you filter it through the time of the 80s,
Yeah, it
or
makes
the 70s,
sense.
the 80s, yeah, the 80s, then it would have made more sense as to what
Yeah.
they were getting at. And I think it would have been horrifying for them that time, you know?
It was. It was scary, and because you can't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a dream ghost. He's a dream. What would you call him? Poltergeist?
Mm-hmm.
He's a dream poltergeist, essentially.
Poltergeist. Say that 5 times fast.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Five times
Poltergeist.
fast.
Poltergeist. 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 Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Yeah, and so I because he's incorporeal, I never understood like the reason for his claw hand.
Yeah.
I was like, he kills Johnny Depp. Spoilers.
Yeah.
He kills Johnny Depp by sucking him
Wait,
down.
is that how he becomes Edward Scissorhands? Because the claws.
There's a theory here we can make. He pulls him down into his bed,
Yeah.
and then blenders him.
Yeah, and that was actually an interesting fact I learned. Do you know that scene was filmed upside down?
What do you mean?
The room they had just
Isn't
like
it top down?
No,
Upside down.
upside. They built a room that's upside down.
Oh, it's probably so that the blood and gore.
the blood.
Yeah, because the way
And-
it hits the
and
ceiling.
For the kill before it, where the girl dies being
Hold up.
dragged around the room
Can
and
we-
on the ceiling
can we
and
Google
everything.
this right quick?
It was in the same situation. It was also an upside down room.
Upside down Nightmare on Elm Street. Can we Google that right quick?
Yes.
Upside down room
Let's
in
see.
M.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Upside down room.
Upside down room. Images.
Careful. Y'all got to be careful. Present images. All right, so this was filmed. Yeah,
This is filmed upside
down. It makes sense because. Oh,
That was
You all right?
I'm swallowing air. It makes sense because of how the blood hits
Yeah.
the ceiling.
Yeah, and
it
it pools.
spreads over it and pools.
pools
That's
it around.
cool. That's a cool
Yeah,
detail.
and so it's the same.
Looks
Yeah,
like the bed
it's
is
a good
vomiting blood.
yeah,
It basically is for a long time.
He gets sucked down into the bed and then blendered up, and it vomits blood. Just
Yeah,
like a
careful,
copious.
Oh,
Careful
like
scrolling down. Go
3
back up the
people's
top.
worth of
Yeah.
blood.
I don't know. There's no.
I think
in
there's-
this movie, isn't
there might be nudity.
Yeah, so
Be
don't scroll
careful.
down.
You got to
Don't
be
scroll
careful scrolling.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
remember any, but I could be
Okay,
wrong.
so it looks like this might have been the production for building the room right here. So this is like them in a warehouse
Cool.
building it and such. And so there's a lot of cool, interesting things about the. Oh, is this a shot? No, it's not. Let me go back to this. So the actor Robert Englund.
England.
He's been in a lot of horror stuff. He's pretty popular. Guess who he most recently played as an old man?
Freddy-
Victor Creel in Stranger Things. The man with his eyes
Victor
chopped
Creel.
through in the
Oh.
prison.
That's
Jake,
cool. That's
That's
a cool
him.
detail.
The same actor.
Wait, I'm
The
trying to think of this guy.
The guy who
the guy
shaved
in the
his
prison
eyes.
who cut out his eyes.
Oh,
His family got killed.
Vecna's dad.
ah,
Yeah,
yes,
that's the same actor, Robert Englund.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he's been around,
Yeah.
and he still is around. He's out and about. So if I'm gonna, I want to try to present to you guys the cool facts I learned about this outfit, this look.
Yeah.
Let's start with the skin.
Was
So
it burnt.
yeah, so Wes Craven, he worked with another fellow. I don't think his name was on this
What is it?
article. Basically, the inspiration. So obviously they use like latex or something, but the inspiration was pizza.
you.
They said they were looking at pizza
I
on
hate-
cheese. They
I
looked
hate
at
that
cheese on
so
pizza,
much.
and they were like, "We need to create this character to have the skin texture of cheese pizza."
Why?
That's awful.
Why?
That's horrific.
So now every time you eat a cheese pizza, be like, "Freddy."
Ah. Pizza now.
Is this like sloppy joe's, but pizza's now Freddy? No, never mind.
Okay, so
You
and
know
the
what I'm
other
saying?
cool
Yes.
thing, there's other stylistic choices, right? So with the claw hand, the reason they chose that is actually Wes. You know when you get into like evolutionary theory and you think about like the old mind of humans, like ancient minds that get passed down through years.
You said Mayans or
Mines.
mines?
Mayans, the Mayans.
The Mayans
Is that
went out in 2012. No,
mines?
I'm talking about
Like-
the brain.
Okay.
The like you know how predators or prey are like
I know
they
about
seek,
both of those.
they seek for like eyes. That's why
Yeah.
like certain
Yeah.
eyes it can be unnerving.
Mm-hmm.
He chose a glove like a weapon to be reminiscent of like a giant bear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why he wanted, because he was like,
Okay,
I think
it's a bear.
people would be more terrified if when like they see his silhouette or they see his hands,
He's got
and they
a
see
massive claw.
like 4 big talons.
yeah.
And they actually built this thing. They had one that was actually really sharp that they would use for scenes where he had to cut something. And every other time he wasn't cutting, it had to be dull because every time they put it on, he would cut himself.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because if he closed his hands, it was so sharp, it would hit him right here, and it would cut him every time.
Seems like, just don't close your hand.
That's what, I mean, but they said every time you put the glove on with the actual sharp one, he always cut himself.
It's interesting, though, the psychology of, I guess, hands and fingers, because you notice in, every... vampires have claws, and werewolves have claws, and the predator has claws, and the alien has his fingers are like fused together with claws.
It's the same concept.
Yeah,
it's claws, long, like sharp things, like weapons on the end of your hands. It's kind of like these directors and creators are tapping into human fear psychology.
What year did this come out?
84.
84.
I think. Hold on. Does it say in the article? The 80s.
In the early 80s.
I think it's 84, 83, 82.
It should say right here on the poster.
Does it?
Get your eyes down in there, Grandpa Joe.
I can't read that. It's too pixelated.
Yeah, I can't read it either.
No, I can't.
I was totally expecting Johnny
Depp's name.
I was totally expecting Johnny Depp to have a bigger role in this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, he just gets blendered.
And he's the kid who keeps falling asleep and letting other people fall asleep.
Right.
That's what he does.
He gets blendered in his own bed.
Think about where Johnny Depp was at this time, though. He came to L.A. to be a musician, and his good friend Nick Cage is like, Johnny, you should try acting. And he's like, you're not making any money doing music right now, so try acting. So he did, and he got this role. Imagine where his brain is at. He's like, I'm just here for the money. I'm just here for the money. I'm just on screen for the money. That's what he's thinking.
They're like, all right, we're going to suck you down into this mattress, Johnny. And he's like, all right.
He's probably writing a song in his head.
He's like, okay. I mean, this is my first and only movie, potentially. So, yeah, sure, kill me.
I don't care. So the other interesting choice was the hat.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hat?
Yeah, why the hat? I guess it gives old man vibes.
Yep.
This is a shout out to the director, Wes.
Oh, this is his hat?
This is not his hat. So when Wes was a kid, this was a popular hat for a lot of adult men at the time.
Yeah.
All right. There was one night that Wes, I think I got the story correct. Wes, as a young boy, woke up and he looked out the window, and there was a man with the same hat just looking at him through the window into his house. Oof. And he got really scared. Like, this got stuck in his psychology because he was so young. Mm-hmm. And he went and got his brother, and his brother got a baseball bat, and they went outside to look because he thought the guy was like trying to break in and gonna harm him or something, and the guy was gone. And that little terrifying moment for young director Wes, Mr. Craven, it's stuck in his mind. So he's like, I'm gonna do something terrifying for me personally.
That makes a ton of sense.
You know, so he gave him that hat.
Yeah.
And that's also the hat.
Honestly, the what?
That's also how he got the name Freddy Krueger, how they found out, because he put his name in his hat.
So, I mean, that... I don't know where I was going with that line of thinking.
Young trauma.
So cheese, huh?
Cheese. Yeah, no, it makes sense. And it stands the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody you could recognize Freddy Krueger's silhouette.
Yeah, that's gross.
Anywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's gross.
Okay, the last thing is the sweater, okay? Yeah. You may not think of this much. I got 2 fun facts. The first one is design-wise. Something I learned, apparently, like certain shades of red and green together do like make people feel uneasy.
Is it red or green?
It's green, yeah. It's just unsaturated. It's red and green.
Oh, I would say that was black.
But it's actually green.
Oh, okay.
So... certain shades of red and green, they chose that because it's uneasy. It's not a complementing color, so it creates unease when you see it.
Yeah.
So it's naturally not fun to look at. The other cool thing is about the person who knitted this sweater.
Somebody knitted it?
Yes. Let me find. Her name's Judy. That's about the pizza. This is some plans for when they were designing the claws.
Yeah.
Ooh, to get through that one. These are just extra production shots. Where's the sweater bit? Oh, here it is.
Judy.
Okay, so where the crap is it? I don't know. Basically, what I'm saying
Her
is
name's Judy something.
She designed scarves and she designed and knitted this sweater.
Yeah.
Found out Judy has a YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
She
Right
does.
Now?
Right now, she's still uploads.
She's still knitting?
Yeah.
Awesome.
She's got 57,000 subscribers.
10 years
This is
ago,
Judy.
Yeah, but 10 years ago. What was the last video she uploaded?
3 days ago.
Wow.
So let's play a minute of her video. Oh,
Walgreens.
I can't freaking. Oh gosh.
Walgreens.
Why did she hashtag Tom Hanks?
Diane Keaton, Tom Hanks.
Because look at the description. I guess she probably puts this in all of her descriptions.
This really cute scarf she made. I said, "What is it?" She said, "Oh, it's the best."
So she talked about herself and then description, and she says she's knitted stuff worn by countless stars such as Barbara Streisand, Diane Keaton, Tom Hanks, and Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street.
All right, so she got her claim to fame. That's
She
cool.
did.
I mean,
She just
50K.
teaches. She's just
We gotta get her on this
an elderly
podcast.
woman with
No, we
50K,
don't
and she just does like 2-3 minute videos of teaching little knitting things.
Yeah.
So that's
Still doing it. She's still out here.
She's still out
here.
It's kind of scary.
Why? That's it was a fun find.
I think it's cool. I always,
Well, what is her full name?
we were just talking about this recently.
Go to her YouTube
her
channel.
YouTube channel is Knitting Tips by Judy, all one word.
We were talking recently about the stepfather, and he wears a red and black striped sweater.
Why do you
A
think I
lot.
wear sweaters?
Quite a bit. Oh yeah, Josh wears sweaters.
Trying to make people
Josh
uneasy.
wears creepy sweaters, but it seems like they were going for the same psychology because he wears a lot of red shirts, red, and it's always like a blood red.
Yeah.
And that red and black striped sweater is uncomfortable to look at.
Yeah.
Don't like it. Not a fan of it.
So I've talked a good bit. If you guys were to look at this monster fella and say, what would you have done differently? What would it be?
Freddy Krueger? Whew.
I don't know. I mean,
Now that you know the reason behind his look.
Two gloved hands?
yeah.
I don't know. He like I said, he always confused me because I was like, he's a dream monster with the gloved hands with the spikes on them.
It was
Michael Jackson style.
It was the creators and director Craven just reaching, trying something new that wasn't already popular
I mean,
for
it's
the time.
fun. I mean, everybody knows who he is, so it worked, obviously. But,
And he has like 9 films.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, in fact,
Who has more films?
I think
Or Predator?
Halloween.
probably
Michael Myers has-
probably he does. It was the Jason versus Freddy Krueger movie. It was the Jason versus Freddy movie that destroyed Aliens versus Predators.
Destroyed it?
Destroyed it. So originally, Ridley Scott and James Cameron were going to do Aliens versus Predators. And then once Freddy versus Jason came out, the studio scrapped whatever that was to do we got to get this movie done as quick as possible to compete with the Versus movies. And so we got a crappy Alien versus Predator.
You know what we need? What's next? Jaws versus
No more Versus movies.
versus the Meg.
The Meg wins. Jaws is a regular shark.
Not like Jaws' baby, great shark baby.
Maybe that one's bigger.
Yeah,
So,
they take steroids.
yeah, but that's all the thoughts I have on Freddy Krueger.
He's
I
a
got,
cool
too.
monster.
I think it was kind of fun exploring, for me, even
Yeah.
just me personally, exploring the details of this. Because I've freaking learned some stuff, man.
Wow.
So
I
going
did.
through monster stuff, you'll find that monster movies have some of the most practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get Freddy Krueger, and you get Predator, and you get Alien, and you get werewolves, you
get-
know,
yeah.
vampires, all these sort of cool things, all practical effects because they were all done. They were all started, at least the big ones, during the 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really fun to explore. And I mean, unfortunately, they established them in the 70s and 80s. So moving forward, they just kind of stuck to the practical effects.
Yeah.
And not a lot of them got better, but they didn't always get worse. So that's a good thing.
Velocipaster probably got worse.
Why?
Velocipaster. Because the trailer looks terrible. Who do you think perfected the practical effects? Steven Spielberg?
No.
I don't know. The dinosaurs are pretty freaking convincing.
Practical effects or
Practical
just
effects.
Effects. I
Who
don't know.
perfected it?
No, way before Steven Spielberg, we got movies like 2001: Space Odyssey. We got Planet of the Apes. There's so many
I'm
things.
not saying who did it. I'm saying who perfected it.
Okay, I would say that.
But Steven might be popular because maybe that was his thing. Maybe he was the perfecter of practical effects.
I would say that practical effects were very well done and then popularized, not perfected, but popularized by movies done by Steven Spielberg, by movies done by James Cameron.
So like E.T., Jaws, Jurassic Park.
Aliens. So that's the second Alien movie. Because he did, I mean, we remember the cargo loader?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was an entire thing. He made an entire giant like head and forearms for the Queen alien.
I think we can't discount, George Lucas with Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
You're right.
Tons of practical effects.
They did so much for George.
Oh, yeah,
Star Wars.
yeah. George Lucas might have been the perfecter of practical effects.
So again, I don't think it's perfected.
Yeah.
I think it's popular. Like
the real
really
question is who mastered, did the masterpiece of practical.
George Lucas did a masterpiece of practical effects.
Yeah, I don't know because looking at like there's
freaking master.
There's too many movies that you can look at.
There's so many.
And there's probably a lot of creators crossover that worked on different directors' stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things also have to be given to the creators, the artists, the engineers,
Yep.
That has to be given credit as well. There's just too many to name.
Yeah. And we have to give credit to all of the craft service people over the years.
Hey.
Nobody ever, I don't think they're in the credits.
No, not the craft service
craft
people.
Service definitely
Craft
are in the
service is
credits.
probably in the credits, but nobody ever mentions it. Everybody's
bottom.
like, a set is, all of these people, and nobody mentions like the craft service people.
Being like, you guys wouldn't be freaking out here.
At least not in like movie reviews like we do. We're never like, oh, the craft service
That could be our
people.
thing.
Or
maybe
even
every movie we review, we give a special shout out to the craft services.
No, or even the craft service people that have to be on the Marvel set with these big buff guys and can have to deliver them their chicken and rice or chicken and broccoli.
I'd love to have an interview like with multiple famous actors, and then because you never see this in interviews, what was the craft services like? And they would probably be like, oh, well, it was just bagels in the morning, and then they would bring in something for lunch. And it's like, but was it good? It's like, oh yeah, it was good, because they would take that for granted at this point, unless it was bad. Then they'd be like, oh no, it was terrible. Craft services was actually really bad on set.
I'm looking. They got transportation department.
You looking for craft
services?
I'm looking for craft and services.
Wait, you went way too
special
fast.
things. Okay, it's going to be in this section.
Don't go so fast.
COVID monitor.
COVID monitor.
COVID front gate office monitor.
You see craft services or food or anything?
No, the COVID people get more
recognition.
There's payroll accounting, Italian subtitles, horse wrangler, COVID outpost monitor again.
Security.
Where's craft services, dog?
Security, additional production.
A shout out to
craft service right here.
Really? Yes, we found Jennifer Lamont.
First aid craft.
Can we before we hit craft services, before we look at her, before we look at what she's worked on?
Okay.
ADR voice people. So a lot of people don't realize and don't think about it, but there are things that people say in movies that wasn't in the movie. It was recorded afterwards and then put into the scene.
Yeah.
So you might get a shot of somebody's head behind, over somebody's shoulder, and they say something, and because you can't see their mouth moving,
They can throw that in.
They can throw it in, and sometimes they throw it in even when you can see their mouth moving, and you get terrible ADR clips. It's some of my favorite stuff. But they do a lot of stuff to help.
What were we watching that
quality of
movie
life.
with Eddie Murphy, and he like throws a guy over the table, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a guy with a mustache, but it's supposed to be Eddie Murphy.
In the movie Beverly Hills Cop,
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy throws a dude over the table.
But
you
if
don't.
you pause,
but you don't even have to be. Just watch the movie. It's this other completely different, bigger, older black gentleman
With a mustache.
a big mustache, and he's just like, "Huh."
It was so weird.
I love it.
One day we were just watching, and you're like, "What is this?"
I love it.
All right, we got Jennifer Lamont's IMDb pulled up. She's been the chef and the caterer on so many films.
So many films.
Wow.
Yeah, but you know how easy
Big
it is.
shout out.
I don't
No.
mean it's not easy to be craft service, but like it's not like you have to prepare. Like you're not. Oh, you make a meal. You show up. You make a meal.
But
It's hard.
You're
but
cooking
it's
for,
not like you prepare like.
But you're cooking for a ton of people.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so
you gotta, and the food has to be at least edible, and not make people sick. You've got to be good at your job.
So in recent stuff, she did Ghostbusters Afterlife. She was First Aid Craft Services. All right. Drink Water. I don't know what that is.
She's worked on a lot of shows.
Little Fish.
Let's see some of these.
Wait,
Revenant.
Prey. Didn't she?
Yeah,
did
it-
Prey.
Yeah, Prey. I pulled
Oh,
up.
is
This
it-
is from Prey
oh,
because
okay.
we did a review on it.
Okay.
But
I
what
didn't
I'm
know we
saying
were looking
is Revenant, Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
Reboot, which is a Netflix thing, and Prey. Those are a couple of her biggest films.
Big ones, yeah.
But she's done a lot of craft service, chef, catering work.
That's
Shout
really cool.
out Jennifer Lamont.
Jennifer Lamont for being the. I think everybody deserves a shout out, but I guess that's what credits are for.
And that's what we're here to do.
You are credited in the credits.
You know this
to be
was
appreciated.
all spun from me making a joke about craft services.
Yeah,
It was a good point.
it's legitimate.
legitimate.
Craft services need to be recognized.
We got anything
more.
else besides this?
Yeah, we're going to do a quick review.
Quick review.
Quick review of
time.
Day Shift.
Day Shift.
Oh,
Vampire monster film.
Yeah.
First off, what did you guys think?
I would say it was a 7 out of 10.
Which did you appreciate more,
I
Day
would-
Shift or Prey?
I would watch Prey over Day Shift.
I would
Same.
watch Day Shift over Prey.
Would you really?
You're
Yeah.
crazy, bro.
I
It
would
was
say-
funner to me.
Funner.
It was very fun.
It was funner to me.
But I feel like I could enjoy Prey over multiple viewings, whereas I would get bored of Day Shift
Yes.
pretty quickly.
First watch, before the film's over, in fact.
Yeah, so the movie falls apart for me at the end. I didn't like that they made Dave Franco a vampire. I thought they were leading somewhere with
Yeah,
his
I didn't care
character.
for that
I was
either.
like, oh, he's going to be the new Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
He's going to be Jamie Foxx.
Or he's going to be Jamie Foxx's partner.
His partner, his friend. He's
because
gonna
Big
learn.
John
Yeah, Big
got
John
killed.
Big John's going to die.
Well,
and
he
then
didn't die, but
Dave Franco
we
is
thought he
going to
did.
be, an incredible vampire hunter. It's going to be awesome. But no, he turns into a vampire.
He's without a head for a while.
It was like a Seth Rogen
Yeah.
plot line that happened.
There was, but Franco, he's been in a lot of Seth Rogen
Yeah.
stuff.
Right,
Franco.
but I'm
Both him
saying
and his
that,
brother.
that thing specifically of like he turns into a vampire, gets his head cut off, blah, blah, blah. That was a very Seth Rogen plot line.
Yes, it was. What do
like,
you think
I
about?
swear we probably saw that in like, I don't know, Pineapple Express. No, I don't know.
Speaking
Probably
of
not.
pineapples, that shirt.
It's loud.
It's loud.
What did you guys think about Snoop Dogg's performance? Obviously, I
Best-
think
He's pretty good.
Best
Jamie-
character.
Jamie Foxx did a good job. He always pulls it out.
Seeing
But-
Snoop Dogg walking around in that much denim with a
And-
cowboy hat.
And he does that smooth move with the hat.
that
it was
smooth
so smooth.
thing
It was
with
like,
the hat where he spins
Listen.
it around and puts it on
Okay,
his head.
first off,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be surprised. That's like 70% of why Snoop Dogg is famous.
Oh, it's his hat thing?
No, he's
Hat trick?
smooth.
Oh, he's smooth. And that was
It's
the
like
thing.
defines Snoop Dogg.
He is
smooth with
smooth. He is pretty smooth with it. I mean, I know it's all for a bit, but when he walks in and everybody's just like, "Oh, what's up, Big John? Hey, Big John. Yo, call me Big John." I was like, he hasn't done anything. And I believe he's the best vampire hunter in California, maybe in America.
Better than Abraham Lincoln?
Better than Abraham
Way
Lincoln.
better than Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What did you guys think about the storyline?
Good. It was simple. It's like,
Yeah.
Simple.
I mean, I called it. I remember calling it at the beginning. I was like, he better not be working this job so that he can pay for child support. I was like, you better be hunting vampires. Better make you enough money to pay child support.
And did she say they were moving to Miami?
Yeah.
Which is in Florida.
It was weird. So their relationship was weird. It was like
It
they're
didn't really establish.
yeah.
what it
There's
was
like
very well.
they're not really, they're not divorced yet. She's trying to get him to be a better father and using the divorce and taking her child away as like blackmail.
They kind of explained it. It was almost like he didn't want to tell her about the vampire stuff, so
Yeah.
he was very secretive, and that's what she didn't do.
Yeah, and she didn't
distrusted
like
him
it.
about that, but
Right.
it was very loose. It
Right.
didn't explain it.
Yeah, so they didn't really explain. Dang, you good? Your jaw just clicked. Did a tooth chip? I just you went.
My shot.
So they didn't. They definitely did not explain the
No,
relationship,
it
and they
wasn't-
didn't elaborate on it. They basically, I've seen this a lot in recent years, probably kind of through the whole 2010s. Is they present a couple with a kid or a couple kids that aren't together or they're divorced, but they still have a very strong relationship with each other.
Yeah.
Where they kind of still love each other, they just aren't living together.
Right.
Which is a strange family dynamic. I don't know if that's like, if it just makes the family more interesting that way.
Right.
I know it gives the mom in this case motivation to be like, I'm going to move somewhere where it's going to be better for me and the daughter, and you're going to have to provide or we have to bounce. You know what I mean?
It's just it's a weird dynamic of like, I'm going to take our daughter all the way across America, far away from you, even though he's not like dangerous or well, he is dangerous.
She just doesn't know it.
She just doesn't know it. It's just that he's not telling the truth.
I think the film got a little bit ridiculous when they went into that house, and
Yeah.
they were like, "It's a hive," and then they just start killing them like insane.
But there was the two brothers.
So
They were the best killer.
The first scene,
He's the guy from Shameless.
the
I know
first
who he
scene with the old lady, like spider vampire.
Yeah.
Incredible. Loved every second of it, where she's like cracking in half and walking, and the fight is incredible. And then the other one is the one with the brothers. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Way too easy.
No. It's ridiculous and insane, and I loved every second of it because of how absolutely stupidly ridiculous it was. It felt like they were having fun with a scene, both with visual effects, with coordinators, with stunts, with stunt people,
Cinematography.
Cinematography. It felt like they were having fun. And then at the end, it's like, let's shoot a bunch of guns at vampires.
Yeah.
Not as much fighting, not as much fun.
So you appreciated like half of this film.
Yeah.
What did you think about the looks of the vampires? Didn't it go too far off script with traditional looks?
It's decent. Why has this thing going into any kind of werewolf vampire movie? He's like, okay, let's establish our rules, because there's rules. Can they go in the daylight? Can they not? They sparkle. They Twilight ones.
Every time
followed
you
all the
say that, I
traditional
cringe.
rules.
I hate you every time you bring up Twilight vampires. Those aren't vampires.
But that's
They're not
a rule.
real.
Okay, but
That's
hold
not
on.
a rule. That's
they
something.
followed-
not a
That's
traditional
something
rule.
made up by Stephanie Myers.
Okay, but still,
It
that's
sucks,
still.
and I hate it.
They followed
But
all the
Hollywood,
traditional rules.
yeah.
They
So they-
followed.
Garlic, wooden
Yeah.
stakes,
Right.
all of it.
Even silver in some cases. And then they gave you a couple other things. It's like, there's different subspecies, ones that can get their heads
There's
cut off,
lore.
survive. And then there was something else.
There's elders.
There's elders. There was another piece of vampire something that they mentioned that I was like, oh, that's new.
Was it 'cause when they were young, they're pretty much helpless?
No, I don't remember what it was, but it was a new thing.
Like they added
remember.
something extra to the vampires.
Yeah, that was specific. Oh, the pheromones. When a vampire dies, it releases pheromones that allow other vampires to track you. I was like, oh, that's new. I'm glad they explained that mechanic.
Yeah.
And he says, here's the powder, rub all over you. Don't get it in your butthole. Incredibly hilarious scene. A lot of this humor, like some of the humor didn't land. A lot of the humor landed very well.
Yeah.
Don't get this in your butthole.
And
Then he gets in
Franco
the car.
comes back. I got a little bit.
I think you bit in my butthole.
Undersold. How terrible that is.
Yeah. Very funny. Yeah.
Absolutely. Rub it all over yourself. Except, overall, what do we rate this film?
What did I say? 7 out of 10.
I gave Prey a 6. I gotta give.
I'm gonna give this a little more than Prey because I enjoyed it more.
Yeah, I gotta give this one like a 4.5, 5.
I'm giving it a 5, straight
Like a
5.
Yeah,
it's 2 points under Prey for me. I enjoyed the humor and I enjoyed some of the fights. I agree with everything that's said. The second half of this film definitely falls apart.
Big John really kind of every time he's on screen, he's holding the movie together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the second half, when basically not less than second half, when the family finds out what he does, that's when it all falls apart.
Yeah, that the story becomes so simplified. It's like take family to new location. They have to get into new location.
Family's in trouble.
Yeah, it was boring.
Save family.
Once Big John shows up, and he starts mowing down vampires. I was like, all right, I'm back. I'm on board again. There was the other vampire girl who was a nothing character.
Yeah, it felt like there was, when it first introduced her, it was like, this might be something because he said, porn stars are among us.
Yeah, that was
and
funny.
then she just became like a nothing
she's a new
character.
girl
She
in
was
the building.
Yeah, it was like nothing.
He sees her talking to a guy who turns out to be a vampire. They go on a meaningless car chase. Meaningless.
Yeah, it was pretty meaningless.
Meaningless car chase.
It was a fun concept though to end the car chase. He just takes the tires out and goes through a smaller space
to get through the thing. Meaningless car chase. Hated it.
It almost felt like she was going to be this, like the trope of not with the wife anymore, so go after new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Or the opposite, the new girlfriend comes on the scene and we realize we want still the wife.
I thought it was. I called it when I saw her, like for the first time. I thought new girlfriend is a vampire, works for the other lady. That's what I thought, and she's bad. I didn't think, oh, she's good. Comes out of nowhere.
It deters from tropes that you follow, and so it's confusing. There's our review. It's a short one. We watched it, and there's our thoughts. Now, to end this episode, and this is kind of how we're going to be ending every episode, for season 12.
This is a test.
I don't know what picture you gave
This
for
is
me.
Now, this is a test. It might work out. It might not. And we did this without communicating.
On purpose.
On purpose, so that we didn't know what we're going to do, where we each choose a monster. Josh and I did this week, and we pit them against each other. Who would win, right?
Yes.
We didn't communicate, so if we need to communicate in the future,
the person who's not picking has to coordinate to make sure that
has
they're
to
on a
coordinate
level
it.
playing field,
yeah,
or an understandable playing field,
right.
So we're basically versing off two monsters from any universe, and we're gonna argue to see which one would win in like
loosely argue. We're not gonna
5
get
to 8 minutes.
like this isn't gonna get like
I'm
the
sure
movie
at
argument.
some point this season it's gonna get heated.
All right,
At some point.
I'll secede if that's the point. Oh, Jaws.
Jaws verse.
A Quiet Place creature.
Oh, Quiet Place. Oh, okay.
Okay.
For some reason, I was thinking it was what's the movie on Amazon Prime that we watched with
Tomorrow War?
Yeah, I thought it was Tomorrow War.
I am going to call this a stalemate.
No, hold on. It's not a stalemate.
Listen. In the water, he loses. On land, he loses.
No.
No, not
This is not a
necessarily.
stalemate.
No, they could
So
fight.
first off, he has the ability to get close to water.
True.
And to get in water.
They can get in water. They just can't
don't do well in
swim.
water.
Yeah.
So Jaws cannot leave water.
True.
But
so
he can. No, he can leave water.
So
Jump,
hold on. By
know.
the nature of these two characters, we are fighting around water.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they might be on a dock, and Jaws is in the water.
Right.
All right. So how are they killing each other? Jaws can do his classic move: jump up, grab half of the dock, and drag him with it.
I think we're putting too much into how are they gonna fight as much as I don't think we should focus on that as much as just them as monsters themselves.
Yeah.
We should probably just focus on him and just focus on Jaws.
Yeah.
And then be like, okay, if we were gonna rank them, who's higher?
Okay,
thing.
so like what attributes they have?
Because I think if they fought, I think this one would probably win because it can't be hurt by bullets.
You're talking about the alien?
Yeah.
Or
It can't be hurt by
Angel of
bullets
Death?
or literally falling from space.
Yes.
So I don't think Jaws'
Well, he's got
mouth,
the shell.
Yeah, I don't think Jaws' mouth is going to hurt it.
You know how many bullets that Jaws took before it died?
That you can't kill this unless you use sound and open up its fleshy face.
I mean, it takes a lot of something to kill it.
I don't think he could bite and hurt it. If it can drown, then he could probably drag it down to the depths. But I don't know what this thing... I mean, it fell from space.
You might be able to bite it.
But
I'm gonna say he can bite it.
I don't think he can bite it.
I think he can bite it.
Gunshots can't hurt it.
Okay, he can't pierce the armor.
I don't think he can pierce the
but
armor.
he can drown him.
I
And
definitely
think
think
about
he
the
can.
pressure on the ears, the getting waterlogged. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Their ears are so sensitive.
It fell from space in an asteroid.
Water is the
I think
Earth version of space.
I think I think survivability it's pretty good unless it gets dragged real deep and then it's not good.
So let's think about this in
as
reverse.
far as-
How would Jaws get killed by this creature?
It would stab it with its arm thingies.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it would
so
have
it's
to stab it a
long
lot.
claws.
Yeah, but they showed them like picking up cars and ripping cars apart. Jaws is a shark. He's a big shark, but he's not that big.
And he's probably a lot faster than Jaws.
They're pretty fast.
I mean, these guys move
But
like
I
hummingbirds.
do think ranking them as monsters, I think we get similar vibes from these two as far as how the movie's explained.
Yeah.
You don't know. Well, you sort of know when this one's gonna attack.
When
they're
noise.
sound.
When they're sound.
When they're
Jaws-
splashing.
Yeah, when they're splashing. When there's blood and splashing.
Or when you hear bottom.
Bottom. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, let's think about this.
Okay, rank this one right here.
Okay, first off, strength. Are they on the same playing field as strength?
No, we're talking ranking them as monsters. I don't know. I'm talking in their own movies, ranking them as monsters.
1 out of 10 for this guy, and then 1 out of 10 for this. For Jaws.
I think Jaws is probably one of the greatest monster movies ever made. It is incredibly well done. It's enjoyable to watch. Perhaps one of the greatest movies ever made. It's
Definitely one of the greatest movies ever made.
incredible.
Yeah. Even if you do see the camera crew
Yeah.
at one point.
Well, yeah, but that can be explained away. It's on the beach. People film stuff. Granted, I don't think I've ever been scared by a monster movie in years until I saw A Quiet Place.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that is
So,
true.
I don't know.
They're pretty similar.
This is what I think.
I'm going to give it to Quiet Place, but only by, like, if I was going to say 1 out of 10 for Jaws, I would say 8.5 for Jaws. I would say 8.7.
I would say Jaws, better overall movie.
Yeah.
Quiet Place, more overall fear for me.
I'm only going to... I would say just as much fear, but I'm going to still give it to Quiet Place only because I think there's... Now, you don't have to be in the water to get killed by this.
True.
You do have to be in the water to get killed by this.
Yeah,
Oh, you just make a sound and you're killed by this.
right.
I give it to the Angel of Death.
All right. I think physically, I don't know who would win. I want
I
to
think
say
physically
that
because of the
Angel
armor,
of Death,
because of the armor,
solely
he
because
would
of the
win.
armor.
But
But Jaws
as far
does
as-
have the deeps.
He's got the deeps. I think I think Jaws might be a little stronger. A little
Physically.
stronger, but he's got almost invincibility with the armor, and Jaws doesn't have a weapon to take him out.
A whale might happen past and go boom, and that might open up the Angel of Death's face.
Well,
and
this is
Jaws
what I'm
would get-
saying though. Like, this is an idea to explore because their ears are so sensitive and because of the pressurized
Yeah.
system. I think if
The
Jaws
water
were to
would
drag him down
affect
far
it much
enough,
more.
I think it would affect him just as much, if not more, than the screeching sound that we got in the movie.
Seeing how quick they are and how quickly they kill
Yeah.
prey, I don't know how long Jaws would last.
That's why I'm giving it.
If
so
he was fighting for
speed
his life.
and invincibility, I give it to Quiet Place Monster. Jaws is stronger, but I think
So-
he would end up dying.
I figured you were going for like Demogorgon,
Oh, that's what you thought?
and I thought Demogorgon versus this.
No,
This-
don't.
No, yeah, no. Later episodes. Later
Okay.
episodes.
Because the
All right.
Demogorgon for sure is showing up at some point.
Yeah.
But not against this.
Not against this. The only
No.
reason this would win is because of the armor.
I think this would tear a Demogorgon apart, but the Demogorgon has like noises that it makes that I think might affect this.
No, it wouldn't affect.
Well, we're
this.
not talking
It
about
might.
that fight. We're talking about this fight.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we established. I think we said this wins.
Yeah.
You said
Yeah.
it wins. He said it wins.
And you say it wins.
I mean, obviously, I'm rooting for it.
Well, you can't. You're not just supposed to always root for yourself. That's not a part of the rules because you got to look at the other person and be like, okay, honestly, yes, that would actually kill it. The rules are not you pick one and then you fight to the death
I think
for
from
it.
the beginning I was pretty heavily in my corner.
I swear this is what it's gonna be. I'm gonna consistently lose. Just go back at the end of this season. Consistently, I'm gonna be losing more
No,
than anybody.
I would
because-
I would agree.
Joshua
that this
gave
is a
you the
good
victory
choice. Yeah,
because he knows it's the truth. That means you're going to have to secede victories at some point as well.
of course, absolutely.
All
I was gonna say if you pick Demogorgon, I think there's a case for the Demogorgon against.
well, I
this
didn't pick
thing.
Devin Gordon. I picked
Yeah.
the King of the Sea.
King of the Seas, which is actually the orca whale. the
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode 291, the start of season 12. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget Friday nights at 10 p.m. What are you saying oh no about?
I just forgot about something that I need to prepare for.
Friday nights at 10 p.m. we have the Midnight Special. What'd you guys think of that graphic, boys?
I like it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Midnight Special coming out. Audio only on all the audio platforms. If you want to watch the video version, go to Patreon and select a tier. We love you guys. And we'll see you the next podcast or whatever piece of content we put out. What were you saying oh no about?
Yeah, nothing. You'll figure it out later.
I don't know about the Demogorgon argument.
I think potentially.
I think the armor is big because 11 and people like Steve was hitting it with a bat.
Yeah, Steve was hitting with a bat.
Demogorgon
I hit you with a ski.
Demogorgon can't survive.
but it doesn't necessarily.